I was officially the worst customer in the history of customers. I was determined to be in a bad mood. The night before, my 50th birthday. Now I'm getting my driver's license renewed. And all I'm thinking as I arrive at the DMV is, well, this is just what I need. First, I get a party with black balloons, and now I have to stand in line at the Department of Motor Vehicles. I step out of the car. There's a line. Not an indoor line, by the way, an outdoor line all the way around the side of the building. And what makes it worse, it must have been about 98 degrees. So I go and I stand at the end of the line and I fume. And we go a few more feet and my mood gets worse and it gets worse until finally I'm in front of the clerk. Her name is Sylvia, by the way. I know this through my keen powers of deduction and the fact that her name tag is right there. And she looks up at me, and the moment I'm in front of her, she just smiles and she says, "Well, good morning. I am so happy to see you today." And I jumped back. I was looking around wondering who could she possibly be talking to when suddenly I realized she's talking to me. So I handed her my information and she looks at it and looks up and says, "I see you just turned 50 yesterday. I hope you don't mind me saying this, but sir, you are looking good." And suddenly I find myself thinking, well, maybe I am looking pretty good. So our transaction continues until she notices my watch. And then she pulls my wrist forward and says, "That is a nice watch. I bet my son would like one exactly like this. Do you mind if I take a picture of this to send to my son?" And right there, in the middle of the DMV, she pulls out her phone and she snaps a picture of my watch. And on this particular day, for the first time in my life, I walk out of the Department of Motor Vehicles thinking, I have got to do this more often. Well, about 3 months later, it was my wife's turn to get her driver's license renewed, and I was in the car when we went. I will never forget the grin on her face when she returned to that car. She stepped in, she held out her wrist, her watch kind of glinted in the sunlight, and she said, "My love, do you think my watch is spectacular?" And I said, "Well, of course, I think it's lovely. After all, I'm the one who gave it to you for your birthday." She said, No, you said lovely, but the clerk said spectacular. And then do you know what she did?" I said, "Let me guess." She pulled out her phone and she snapped a picture of your watch. She said, "That's exactly what she did. How could you possibly know that?" I said, "Hey, I'm a mind reader. This stuff just comes to me." Now, the first thing that went through my mind when I realized that Sylvia was giving this performance day in and day out was this: just how many pictures of watches does she have on her phone at the end of the day? But the second thing that went through my mind was, well, I wondered, how did this come about? Obviously, I wasn't there, but I don't think this happened all at once. I think at some point she just got tired of having rude, surly, mean customers in front of her, and she said, I've got to do something about this. And so she dreamed up some little compliment that she hoped would transform the mood of the person in front of her. And I bet that the first time she delivered this compliment, she was scared because she was taking a risk. She was worried, am I going to be judged? Am I going to be thought ridiculous? But she delivered the compliment and it worked. It transformed this person in front of her and she felt a little bit more confident. So she did it again and felt a little bit more confident. And she did it again and again, each time making it just a bit more elaborate until finally she had created for herself a kind of superpower. She was able to make people feel good about an experience that literally nobody ever feels good about. And what I find really magical is this. All this time, she probably thought that she was transforming the people in front of her, when what she was really doing is transforming herself. You see, if we want to create standing ovation level customer experiences, we have to reach past our comfort zone. We have to connect with other people, and that always means risk. It means vulnerability. We are risking being judged. But the wonderful news is that even tiny changes that we make can create enormous transformations, not just in the people that we're trying to connect with, but equally important, transformations in ourselves. Thank you.